Just a fun, cute poem. It's called Poetry in the Afterlife. I preface it with a quote by Teresa of Avila. May your life become one of glad and unending praise to the Lord as you journey throughout this world and in the world that is to come. I'm cruising in the afterlife with the radio cranked up, singing like a rock star on YouTube. My hair trailing behind me reminds me of one of those guardian angels trying to keep up with some mortal midlife crisis driving a new 2010 Camaro. I see I haven't stopped thinking like a poet. Thank God. I had to check my muse in at the pearly gate. Because you know, at the Council of Nicaea in AD 325, mythological figures were banned from heaven. Riding shotgun. I saw a bumper sticker once, and it said, if God is your co-pilot, then change seats. And now I'm riding shotgun with a crazy driver. I want to go right, but he races off toward the city. You're going the wrong way, I say. He just grunts and catches the interstate. He slows to a crawl when we pass an accident scene. Take a picture, it'll last longer, he says to me. I'm prepared to give a few bucks to a homeless person on the corner, but he pretends not to notice. Why didn't you stop, I ask. He had a sign that said, God bless you for giving. Aren't we supposed to give to the poor? He didn't ask me to stop, he says. Besides, he isn't poor. I'm mortified when he does stop to pick up a hitchhiker screaming, God help me, God help me. Some creepy guy covered in muck and blood who looks as though he just hacked somebody to pieces. We drop him off a few miles down the road in front of the liquor store. Why did you do that, I ask. He asked me to let him out, he says. I'm white-knuckled and queasy. I want out too, I think. A bus barrels through the intersection. I scream at him to stop, but he's got the pedal to the floor. Oh God, it hurts. Yes, it does. Am I dying? No, you're living. This next poem is a speculative poem. Poets write them all the time. There's, I wonder if, or I imagine that, this is called Paul's Thorn. And it's about St. Paul, or the Apostle Paul. In the Bible it says he was afflicted of a thorn in his side, but it never says what it is. Paul never told us what his affliction was that pierced his flesh unceasingly. A festering pain that never abated and always chided his conscience and haunted his dreams. I bet it was the memory of what he did to a woman. Not the memories of all the Christians he sent to be eaten by lions or whipped and mutilated for blood sport and religious zealotry, but to the one woman whose heart was broken because he found another lover after promising to spend eternity with her. He changed his ways. He changed his name. He gave to the poor and healed the sick and even died a martyr. He treated his new lover the way he wished he had treated her. But his thorn always pricked his rib, causing him torment, reminding him of what a son of a bitch he'd been. This next poem I wrote after watching a History Channel program on the writers of the Bible. Apparently the Old Testament, much of it was written after the Israelites were taken away from the Promised Land and Babylon had taken over, and it was the Babylonian exile. And apparently the Bible tells us, and they thought that they were being punished for being unfaithful. The Bible also uses the imagery of a bride to represent the church. This is called Far from Grace. Her faith, inextricably bound by place, nearly shatters when she is exiled far from grace. Taken from the promised land and sold into bondage, she fears her lover has claimed retribution for her passionate indulgences. Suddenly alone and afraid of the dark, she offers her joy as a sacrifice and binds her heart in stone. Her lover, forlorn, cast aside by fear, continues in vain to seduce her heart and draw her near. She rejects him with the coldness of hell and the conviction of a woman's bond. Afraid of the feminine mystique. Braids and gemstones and precious metals, ornamental symbols reminiscent of forgotten goddess worship, strip a woman of her charms and strip her soul of its spirit. Her strength and powers temporarily disarmed. Bonds are tethered by cowards in every culture and in every generation, afraid of the feminine mystique. High collars, ankle-length skirts, headscarves remind me of a child hiding his head under the covers, afraid of the monsters in his closet. The withholding of knowledge and freedom reminds me of an illiterate parent fearing the exposure of his own ignorance. Tonight, I am naked. Face scrubbed, polish removed, jewels abandoned. I note the absence of my wedding band after fixing meatloaf. My mother's ring, 5-year anniversary ring, 10-year diamond tennis bracelet, all tucked away in my jewelry box for special occasions. Almost too late. I remember to remove the cross from my neck. Strung with a double leather strap, a heavy silver cross cast in a medieval motif. I dissolve into the tub and realize tonight I am naked for maybe the first time in years. I want to dedicate this poem to all of the soldiers and their spouses who struggle with separation. I wrote this one for a friend of mine who spent 3 tours in Iraq. And when he came home, his wife was shacking up with a 21-year-old playing video games. Prepared. I was prepared to lose you. I knew that you would be taken from me and that I would have to be strong and supportive and sane. Lots of other women do this, send their husbands off to protect the world, and us wives have to carry on and persevere and cry. I was prepared to never have you back because you might get killed in combat or lose your soul on the battlefield or shred your heart in two or kill yourself or leave me. I surrounded myself with friends and family and began to live my life without you. I forced myself to enjoy life and sleep by myself in peace. I took charge of raising the kids and paying bills and mowing the yard. I learned to fix a leaky faucet. I learned to fall asleep without tears on my pillow and dream without seeing your face or feeling your embrace. Now I have you back, And I'm not prepared for this at all. Forgive me.